Welcome to the end, friend.
What is up guys, Kris05 here with the final card review of the new cards from the Witchwood. The long wait is finally over and we can see the complete Witchwood set in all of its glory, but for now let's focus on the cards from the last few days. Here you can see all of the latest 51 cards that got released, and in this video I will pick and review the 5 best cards from them and I'll drop a few words for the rest. Like the last time, I will give you my rating for all of those cards from 1 to 5 stars. I don't really expect you to have the same opinion as mine, especially for such a large amount of cards, but here are the cards that I think are the best from the bunch. Let's get started. First up is the new Shaman legendary minion Shudderwalk, and I think we can all agree that this card is in the top 3 strongest legendaries in the new expansion. This card can single-handedly drag Shaman from the dumpster and bring it back to top tier class once again. Running a deck revolving around this dude having a bunch of good battle cries will definitely pay off big time. Shaman has enough tools to drag the game for as long as he likes, and with cards like Grumble, Thrall Deathseer, Serenite Chaingang, Fungomancer and many more, you can imagine what havoc will wreak when you drop this guy on the board. I don't even want to think what will happen in Wild with this. My rating for Shudderwalk is obviously 5 stars. It is just insane, and Blizzard will need to think long and hard what new neutral battlecry minions will it release in the future expansions. Continuing with another Shaman spell, Earthen Might. A +2/+2 for 2 mana is nice, but being able to get an elemental from it is a pretty nice bonus to it. The fact that it is random and not discovered will make it a bit awkward from time to time, but overall I think it is great. This might be a key card for an elemental-oriented shaman that also runs Hagata and Kalimos. There are a lot of good elemental cards for shaman, and I think this would be a part of a good tier 2 deck to say the least. I see a lot of value here, so I'm gonna give this card 4 stars. It's nice that Blizzard is giving shaman players support for 2 archetypes, so I am confident we will see a lot more shaman on the ladder than before. Dark Possession is up next. This is another really strong card for Warlock. Not only do you have one more way to activate your possessed lackey, but you get to decide what demon you want to have in your hand. There are a lot of bad demons out there, but not so few great ones as well, so I really think you will be happy with the outcome more often than not. The only downside of this spell is that Warlock already has a great activator for Lackey, and it even heals him for 8, which is very important for locks. But I have the feeling that they will find room to squeeze this card in it too. I'm giving Dark Possession 4 stars again. It will make the Warlock powerhouse even stronger, and I'm not really sure why Blizzard keeps throwing good cards at them, but it does. Now let's talk about the Warlock rare spell, Curse of Weakness. This is yet another strong new Warlock card. The spell will be stronger in Zoo Lock rather than Cube and Control Lock, but we might see it in all of those decks. The fact that the effect lasts until your next turn is just insane. Not only will you be able to pull off some favorable trades on your turn, but your opponent will have to play his next turn handicapped as well. This will be a nice cheap alternative to Warlock's self-harming AoE arsenal. Notice that this is even an echo card, so you can completely negate the enemy minions for as little as 4 or 6 mana. My rating for this card will be 4 stars. It is strong, versatile and unique, and it will fit well with the Warlock playstyle. And I'll finish off the final top 5 with another Warlock card, Ratcatcher. Come on Blizzard, really? Are you even listening to the community? Whatever. So yeah. This is yet another really strong card for Warlock, and Cube Lock in particular. Now they will have one more super reliable activator for Possessed Lackey and even for Carnivorous Cube, so I think this card will definitely see play in competitive games. You can even trade with the Cube first and use this guy for even more damage on the board. There is a chance Zoo finds this card appealing too, but my bet is on Cube. Again, 4 stars for this Warlock card. People really looked forward to this expansion to find an answer against Warlock, but I think the situation got even worse. So these were the 5 best cards from the last few days. Now let's move down to the quick rating segment. All of these cards will take 4 stars. All of them are great and will be a big part of the new meta. Arcane Keysmith is not bad, since it gives you the surprise element versus your opponent, and he will have no idea what secret you have played. Ferocious Hell sounds a lot like Warrior's Shield block, but you can get 9 armor instead of the usual 5. I think this card will see a lot of play. Baleful Banker seems interesting. He can find place in many classes for some interesting results, but it might be too slow for most. For Zap, I'm not really sure Shaman needed one more single target removal, but it costs 0 mana and it is an activator for overload mechanics, so it might be worth it. Squashling can be a massive hand refill for you if you have a Northshire Cleric on the board. Paragon of Light will be a great paladin minion, but you will need Direwolf Alpha or some other reliable activator for its effect. Prince Liam looks like a fun cool card, although there is a ton of RNG involved here. If you're an aggro paladin, you won't really want to draw 1-drops after turn 5, so this will transition you well into the mid-game. Blazing Invocation? A little discover never hurt anyone. Curio Collector has the potential of becoming a decent threat with all of the card draw Mage has. Playing it after you equipped Alnet for instance could prove to be a good power play, and it will force your opponent to throw one of his removals or face the consequences. Nightscale Matriarch will be a good addition to the Dragon Priest. The stats are great, it's a dragon, and it has a good effect. What more could you ask for? Quartz Elemental feels a bit weird. It will force your opponent to deal damage to it, but I'm not too keen on the elemental tag for a priest. I'm giving it 4 stars since it could be used for OTK. If you double its health 2 times and swap it with Crazed Alchemist, it will be considered fully healed, and you can demolish face with it. For 5 mana, your opponent will be forced to deal with a 5/8, so I call it worth. Divine Hymn is a good class spell for priests. Most of the time, priests don't really go that wide on the board, but with all of the new cards, that might change. Life Drinker has quite the effect for a 4 mana 3/3 neutral beast. It might be used in several ways in competitive decks, and it will be priceless for Arena. Chief Inspector will be a good replacement for Secret Eater. It is a nice tech card, and the fact that it has adequate stats will make him playable even versus classes with no secrets. And I'm giving these cards 3 stars. They have potential, but time will tell if people will find good use of them in the competitive scene. Witchwood Piper has mediocre stats, but the effect might turn out to be stronger than expected. Druid of the Sai is an okay versatile card, but it is not that special. Bewitched Guardian? I really don't think Druid needed one more taunt. Carian Drake looks like a good arena card, but for Constructed, it won't see much play. Ghostlight Angler would have been nice if we had seen any other Murloc synergy in the new expansion, but now he will mostly be used for the Murloc quests. Ghostly Charger seems kinda expensive for what it brings to the board. If it was a 4/3, it would have been a lot better. Hidden Wisdom doesn't sound that hot to me. It will probably see some play, but it won't be a game changer. Marsh Drake seems bad at first, but for some classes like Warrior, Hunter, Rogue or Paladin, it won't be that hard to just equip a 1 damage weapon beforehand and just clear the 2/1 poisonous Drake Slayer. Maybe Dragon Paladin might work after all. Tango for Mystic has an interesting new mechanic to it. It might get used to force your opponent to overdraw, but that seems a bit too inconsistent. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Cutthroat Buccaneer looks okay for most rogue decks, but I'm not sure it will be a staple in them. Mad Hatter is not as bad as most people think. It is not that hard to clear your opponent's board with your board on turn 4 and play a 2/3 body with a +3/+3 buff, given one of your minions survived. For 4 mana, you get 5/6 on the board, and I think that is enough value to call it 3 stars. It might find place in some Paladin decks, and he will be decent in Arena. Wormguard has massive stats, and I think priests might find place for him. Inner Fire is gone, but Void Ripper and Crazed Alchemist are here, so that is more than enough activator for a combo Dragon Priest. The high cost and the lack of Dragon Tag is a setback though, and the fact that I'm not sure Combo Priest will survive is bad for it too. Sandbinder might find a place in some new Elemental deck, but for now I don't see it. Cauldron Elemental looks like a win more card. If you already have a good board of elementals, chances are you already won. I don't think people will opt to run this in their deck. They would rather discover it if they feel the need to. Night Prowler might actually find place in some hunter decks, but I'm not really sure about that, so 3 stars are enough here. Deranged Healbot, Doctor, seems great for Arena, but I doubt we will see him in Constructed. Henge Clan Thug will be too slow to get it going. It is not all that bad, since you will probably get a 3 mana 4/4, but I don't think it will be a game changer. And for these, I'm gonna have to go with 2 stars at most. Vileblood Skitterer is too expensive to get more than 2 stars. Hunter already has so many removals, and I think this one isn't really needed for him. Vicious Scalehide might see some play, but right now I don't see in what deck. He will be awesome in Deathstalker Rexar, to say the least. Swamp Dragon Egg might get included in some wild egg decks, but for standard, not so much. Rabid Worgen looks a bit too mediocre, even for a rush deck. Walnut Sprite is just a filler card nobody will want to open. I'm only giving it 2 stars since he will be decent in Arena. And Swamp Leech is here only because of Arena too. Underpowered Steambot is exactly that, underpowered. If you draw it with a meat wagon, it might be worth, but that is a long shot. Lady in White might find him attractive too, but I'm not sure a deck like that will emerge. Furious Etten has nice stats for a taunt, but Sleepy Dragon didn't see any play and it was a dragon, so I don't see this getting played either. Witchwood Imp looks bad, and I doubt it will get included even in zoo decks. 2 stars are more than enough for this guy. Snap Freeze is another bad spell that will water down Glyph. And here are the only cards that will get 1 star from this expansion. All of these don't have place in any serious deck. Cinderstorm is horrible. You can get free missiles for 1 mana from Arcane Missiles, and having to pay 2 more mana for 2 more missiles is just absurd. Darkshire Moonkin is another filler card that won't see any serious play. The stats are just too bad, and we are yet to see a deck that benefits from spell damage and doesn't opt for Malicos instead of cards like this. Lost Spirit would have been better if it stayed lost. This card will only water down the cards you get from cards that give you random Death Rattle cards. Felso Inquisitor is just another filler card. And Fiendish Circle doesn't really offer much to be a part of any Warlock deck, even Zoo. So that sums it up, guys. These were the final 51 cards from the Witchwood. Which card did you like the most? Drop a comment below and let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. I'm Kris05 and I'll see you in my next video.